5:30?
I do.
Let's start.
Yes, sir.
Are we turned on? Are we ready to go? If I could have your attention, it's 5:30, so we're going to call this meeting to order for the April 27th. And the first order of business is our mission statement, and tonight that will be read by Ms. Eltha Booth.
Thank you. Beaufort County Schools will provide quality educational programs and services to ensure student academic and vocational success.
Thank you, Ms. Booth. Our Pledge of Allegiance and moment of silence will be handled tonight by Mr. Steve Rader.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you, everyone. We will now move to the approval of the agenda. Any changes, or are we good? Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Anyone opposed? We have an agenda. 3.0, we're going to move into the minutes, and if you'll have a chance, well, you've had a chance to look over them, but if you'll see, there are 5 different sets, I believe. So is everybody good with what we've seen on those?
Motion to approve.
Okay, have a motion and a second. All in favor to approve the minutes, say aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, so we have that. That's going to carry us into why probably most of these people are here. Public recognition. And first up will be April Character Education, and this month is Courage, and Dr. Tremaine Young, I believe, will come up and handle that for us.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our character trait for this month is courage, choosing what is helpful, right, and kind, even when it's hard or scary. First up from Eastern, we have Tokyo Bongi. Tokyo Bongi starting a brand new school, learning new routines, and meeting so many new people can be really scary. But she showed real courage. Even when things felt new or difficult, she kept trying and did her best every single day. We are proud of how brave she has been. Bath Elementary. We have Elena Bear. Elena Bear. in our musical. She powered through all the obstacles and any fear she may have had and absolutely did a great job. All we have Sergio Palacios Robles. Every day with a smile and a good morning teacher. I can't imagine being a 10-year-old sitting in class and not understanding much of what he said. He has been such a good sport about fitting in and trying to follow along. It takes tremendous courage to try to understand and communicate with others in a language he is still learning. Despite language being a challenge, he never gives up. Even when times are tough, his courage pushes him through. Not only is Owen a proud member of the House of Infinity, but he is also a true lion at heart. He always true to himself and never want to walk around with the rest of the crowd. Many of his peers look up to him for his confidence. I always admire his fierce determination to be his best self, even if it means veering away from others, veering away from what others are doing and going in his own way. Owen makes every decision with his strong values and priorities at the center, and guiding him always is his intuition and most importantly, the courage to follow it. Come on down, Leslie. And you're welcome. Very deserving of this nomination. At the beginning of the year, she faced some challenges that did not come easily right away. There were times she may have felt frustrated or unsure, but she did not let those feelings stop her. Instead, she kept trying. She was brave enough to try new things, even when they seemed difficult or a little scary at first. Her courage and determination are an inspiration to everyone around her, and she is deserving of this recognition. We are very proud of her. From the early college, we have Kimberly Luna Garcia. Kimberly traveled on our study abroad trip to Puerto Rico. This was her first time flying and her first time traveling without her parents. The whole trip was outside of her comfort zone. Moreover, she fell and hurt her ankle on our first full day in Puerto Rico, but she continued on bravely without complaining because she did not want to miss anything or negatively impact anyone else.
She's not an employee, so there's zero workers' comp.
North East, we have Amy Hopkins. She's truly deserving nominee for the character trait. As a fifth grade student, she consistently demonstrates what it means to face challenges with strength and determination. She has worked incredibly hard to overcome academic struggles, showing perseverance and a willingness to keep trying even when things feel difficult.
She gone.
Being courageous and shining your light. Representing the middle school, we have Anaya Bonner. And asked to go to tutoring for extra practice. As a result, a friend she has who also needs some extra practice also decided to go tutoring. She has shown great courage in social situations by being the first to admit when a group might have been off task and apologizing and fixing her action. She is a wonderful student who is an inspiration to her peers with her kindness and courage.
Yep. Yeah.
What is Mr. Mitchell? Good evening, thank you for joining us, and we're here to celebrate our Athlete of the Month today for our three high schools. We're gonna start with Washington, and our Athlete of the Month is senior Janaya
Yes.
And our video athlete of the month for Southside, sophomore Layla Humberg. She's not quite here. I think she's on the way. So, but we will. So we'll recognize. We need to come back. And our
Don't let me forget that.
Trent Dunn.
Athletes are always out doing something. So, congratulations to all the people being recognized. You can come on up. And now we're going to have a recognition for our NCCAT CTE Teachers of the Year, and Ms. Hamill will be handling that, and apparently Mr. Don as well. Must have a battery problem.
CTE Teachers of the Year are being recognized tonight from Northside High School. We have Kristen Van Zandt, who was recognized as the choice from her school. There we go. We've got volume. In case y'all couldn't hear, he said your parents must be so proud. But we're very thankful for Kristen. She does a great job with business and FBLA. She's a very standout educator for CTE, and thankful for her tonight. From Washington High School, we'd like to recognize Jennifer Sneed. I'm not sure if Jennifer is with us tonight, but Jennifer transitioned from the middle school, she actually from elementary to middle school, and then from middle school to high school. And she's proven that she can do whatever at whatever level, and we're very thankful for her. So. Buffy Everett is our winner for tonight from Southside High School. Buffy does a great job in agriculture and teaches the students animal science as well as horticulture. She is also a strong supporter of FFA and has a great deal of fun with those students. So of our 3 that we had nominated by our schools, we as a district did a Google poll to find out who, based on what was written up by each school, who would be our NCAT CTE Teacher of the Year to go on and compete at regionals. And tonight we'd like to announce that Buffy Everett has won that. So congratulations to Southside. They're the big winners tonight in CTE.
Congratulations. Thank you, Vicki. And Mr. Doan, I think you can just hang on right there because we have a presentation of Character Strong, and I believe first up, well, I'll let him announce it.
Well, so if you're not aware, Character Strong is a character ed program for our students in grades K through 8. We adopted it this year, and our schools have all taken off with it. It's been what I'm told, a tremendous asset in our K-8 curriculum, working with our students to be on their best behavior and learning all the aspects of character education. And our schools did such a great job with it that we can recognize 2 of them tonight. Both of them have been recognized by the National Character Strong organization. P.S. Jones will be recognized as a Character Strong School of Distinction, and Chalkaway Primary School not only is a Character Strong School of Distinction, but they've also been asked to present at the national conference. So I asked both principals if they would invite all the folks that are involved in Character Strong and give them an opportunity to be recognized. So if Ms. Bosberg and Ms. Whittington would come forward, along with all their folks. You guys can fill in right through here. All right, I'm going to start with Ms. Vosberg. If you would introduce everybody that's here that's part of the Character Strong team at P.S.
Yep.
Jones.
Okay, yes, I'll take this just in case you can't hear my loud mouth. This is Kevin McRoy. He is one of our assistant principals. This is Carly Williams. She is one of our counselors. Kirsten Godley, another assistant principal, and Andrea Cancel. She is one of our counselors. And these two ladies have just got Character Strong going in our school. We made a great little video that we'll post later if you want to watch it. Our kids talked about Character Strong. We've seen a huge decrease in discipline this year, and we benefit Character Strong for that.
Please give them a round of applause. And then, Ms. Whittington, if you wouldn't mind introducing your team.
Yeah, sure. So we have fully implemented Character Strong at our school. Also, all 3 tiers, Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. So I brought tonight our leaders of each tier that handles all Character Strong things at our school. So at the end, we have Miss Leslie Jones. She's our school counselor, as well as over the core instruction for Character Strong Tier 1 level. Miss Barrow, right here, she is our student success coordinator, and she's over Tier 2 interventions, and she teaches small groups of students the Character Strong program. And then we have Abby Norris. She's one of our EC teachers, our EC chair, and she teaches our Tier 3 to our students with additional needs other than our Character Strong Tier 1 and 2 levels.
Please give them a round of applause. You ladies be safe in your journeys, represent us well, and make sure you cheer really loud when they mention P.S. Jones at the conference. Thank you all. Keith, Mr. Mitchell?
Could we ask the athletic director to come back up? I believe we have our softball player here.
We'd make a special addition to Athlete of the Month for Female Athlete of the Month for Southside is sophomore Layla Humberg. Layla is a member of the Southside volleyball, basketball, and softball teams. Along with maintaining high academic standards, she has shown a determined work ethic to improve her skill set. She is coachable and has proven to be a vocal leader both during practice and games, and we are very proud of her growth. Congratulations.
I want to say a big congrats to our teachers for Character Strong and CTE, to our students and our student athletes, but to moms and dads out there, you got some great students. Thank you so much for the job you're doing.
And that carries us into our public comment, which I believe we had no one sign up. But I do have one other thing to say before I turn everybody loose that came just for this part of the meeting. I knew this part was coming up. I knew this was coming, and can't say I was really looking forward to it, but I was shocked a little bit, so I'm notifying the board mostly, but I want everyone to hear as well. When I got a call about an hour and a half ago that we are going to be, I don't want to say losing one of our board members, but we're going to be missing one of our board members who has had a tremendous impact on us. Talking about Mr. Donald Shreve. I knew Donald because of some family ties with his grandchildren, and anybody that knows me knows I can certainly understand you want to be near those grandkids, right, Donald? We're the same on that one, buddy. And I knew he was looking at having a move, and I told people since he lived in Bath, it wouldn't take very long to sell a home in Bath and move out of the district. But I couldn't believe he sold it in like 4 or 5 days, but he did. So this is going to be Donald's last meeting with us. And come Monday, I guess we will have a meeting next week, but we're going to have an empty seat over on my left over here. And Donald, you're going to be missed tremendously. You've brought a lot of fresh ideas to this board, and I'm going to give others to say a chance to say something, but you've brought a lot of fresh ideas to this board. You and I have had a lot of conversations. Some we agreed on, some we didn't, but that's okay. That's what makes a good board. And I just want to wish you the best in your future endeavors and being down there with your grandkids and grandchild, and I think that's just wonderful. But we're going to miss you. I wish I'd had more notice of this, and we're still going to invite you back for some things. So we're not letting you just walk out that door and think that we're not going to be leaning on you again, because that's not gonna happen. That never happens around this board anyway. Would anybody else have anything to say before I ask Donald if he'd like to have something to say? But I was
just
shocked
wanna-
that I got the
yeah.
call that this was his last meeting.
I would,
Sure.
and then Charles. I did not know Donald at all when he came on the board. Had never met him, never heard of him. He wasn't originally from Beaufort County. I couldn't hold that against him because neither am I. But as I got to know him and his love for the students in Beaufort County schools and the way he attended so many events, not just, Donald's one of those board members that's not just worried about his district. He is worried about everybody's school and everybody's students. And he showed up and showed out at all of those events and gave me a run for my money because I thought I was the one that showed up for everything. But Donald is the man. And I only hope for him that when he gets down there, it's Carteret County, right? Give them a run for their money and run for their school board, Donald, because they could use your intellect and your caring for students, and don't spoil that granddaughter too much.
Yeah, we've kind of helped train you. Now go use it somewhere. Don't just walk away from the schools. Anyone else? Charles?
Yeah, just, Don, wish you the best. Enjoy your grandchildren and stay in touch.
Steve, you got something to say?
Yes, I think Don will really be missed. He's been somebody that takes issues and looks at them, not just superficially. I mean, he'll look at the meat of something and make an informed decision. And I think he's probably one of the best board members I've worked with in that sense. And he's somebody that deeply cares about his community, about the students, but most of all, he's been very parent-oriented, and I think that's important to the board, and I hope his successor will have that same orientation. We'll miss you, Don.
Mm-hmm. Stacy?
Donald, I've known of you since Onslow County, and one of the nonprofits that you served with there, that helped mothers and single parents and domestic abuse. You were really involved, and you helped them get out to their first interviews from who knows what they were walking from. And when I found out or figured out that's who you were, because I had relocated from that area back to here, and I figured out that's who you were, and you had already started cheering me on, getting me motivated, getting on me when I needed to have someone get on me. And you have really guided me since I've been on this board, and I have grown so much from you being a part of my life and what I've seen from you. And Carteret County really does have some awesome schools. And I gave you some names, and it would be really nice to hear that you go there and do some great things as well. And I disagree. I think you should go and spoil that grandbaby.
I think he already started that.
You're welcome.
Well, I'd just like to say, Donald, it's been a pleasure to work with you. We're certainly going to miss you, but just a little background on Donald and I's relationship. So like Ms. Walker, I did not know Donald prior to my involvement with the board. And when I first decided that I was going to run for this seat, just prior to, Donald had asked me to speak at public comment one night, and I didn't exactly agree with what he was trying to do, so I declined. I told him I wasn't interested, and when I decided I was going to run, and this takes a lot of courage, and this just kind of speaks to his character, he called me and he said, "Daniel, I understand you're going to run." I said, "Yes, sir, Mr. Shreve, I am." He said, "Well, I just want you to know I'm not going to support you." I said, "Well, thank you for telling me that, Donald. I appreciate it. Do you mind me asking why?" He said, "Well, you wouldn't come speak on our behalf at public comment, so I'm not going to support you." And I thought, well, that's a nice guy, But through all that, I have gotten to know Donald very well, and you can't look at this gentleman and tell, but I would dare to say he is probably the scrappiest individual in this room.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen him stand up against opposition to other people that are in local government at different capacities, people that even supported him along the way that now don't. He always stands for what he believes in his own heart. I've never seen him waver.
waver from that. So, Donald, I appreciate it. I've enjoyed your time. I've enjoyed getting to know you. If I can do anything along the way, let's stay in touch. Thank you for everything.
Sort of to build off of that, not trying
Don,
to
I
make this,
just-
oh, yeah,
excuse
go
me,
ahead, Ms.
I'm
Booth.
sorry,
Go ahead,
I'm
no, go
sorry,
ahead, no,
Chairman.
go ahead.
Don, I just want to say good luck wherever you go in, whatever you go in for, and I hope everything will work out the way that you're looking for it, okay?
Yeah, not trying to make this a love fest or anything, but kind of build off what you were saying. I'll tell you both sides of the story. When Donald first came, we kind of butted heads some, and I've been on this
Never
board.
backed down though, did he?
Well, the problem was neither one of us would. And I've been on the board 16 years, and Donald's one of the first members, and he was new right out of the gate, would call me up and say, Terry, you're on the wrong side of this issue. And I'm like, well, would you explain to me? And saying it, most of the times he did. And a lot of times it made sense. And sometimes I'd switch over and sometimes I wouldn't. But yeah, it takes a real board member for that. That's what we need. Different board members. We have attorneys over here as a board member, a businessman over here, a business owner, a state employee. Stacy, I hadn't really figured out, you do so many things, I had never figured out what to say you do. But we just have a good mix, and you're gonna be missed a lot, buddy. Anything you'd like to say to us?
Well, just that I've enjoyed hopefully making a contribution to the board. I've become to know a lot of wonderful teachers. I feel that Beaufort County Schools is in very good hands with Mark Down. I was always supporting him. A fantastic person. I believe you're in very good hands with him and Miss Apple. I've enjoyed working with every board member, good and bad sometimes, but hopefully we made some difference here, and we just love you, and we'll miss all of you. Thank you.
Dr. Young, I believe we have another arrival. You already, I see you're up and coming, so you already knew that, right? Got it.
I think Donald should have gotten the character trait for courage.
All right, we have Miss Elena Barrett from Bath Elementary. Come on down. Elena is being recognized for the incredible courage she shows every day at school. Whether she is trying something new, standing up for a friend, or facing a challenge with a smile, she shows us all what it means to be brave. Come on down.
So that concludes the recognition part of our meeting, and if you came for that particular, we're going to take about a 1-minute break, and you're welcome to leave. You're welcome to stay. If you want to hear the really good, boring stuff, come on in.
Y'all for those nice comments.
I will never forget.
They're genuine comments.
They were.
I will never forget. Maybe it was our third meeting then, and we were leaving. And of course, Hood, it wouldn't be an article if he didn't have to say something ugly about me. And we walked out. I always remember Donald looked at me and he said, "You're really hard, nice person." And I said, "Thank you, Don." It's like you didn't believe it before.
Was that him or me?
I seen him swell up that night at SW Snowden at him about a comment or some stuff that was going on. And the street got big, he swelled right up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Look at this guy, man. He's getting ready to go to work.
Oh, I'm telling you, he got me. What was he giving me for? For voting again.
So let's see. Oh, I got that.
Basically, well, you checked him. I mean,
But you know, we had all the information on Snowden.
Yeah.
You know, and it got kicked down the road so many times. You know, somebody has to deal with it because it's really not bringing to school. But what I told people that night at the forum was that we had information that they didn't. We had the principal that was already, I think, had gotten a job somewhere else. Everybody was bailing out.
Well, you know what? Those kids are thriving.
That's what
At
I'm
CPS and CMS. They're doing.
I'm hearing it may bring the grade level down. But you know what? Sometimes it's
I'll let you tell me when I can just override them and go ahead and
Well, they're
start.
getting opportunities. They're
There'll
not
be a period of some time it will take to, you're gonna have some negative I guess, if you wanna call it.
I'm never gonna present the school. It has nothing to do with it.
We still love you, Stacy.
We really don't.
You earned that seat just like we did. That's totally
this
your
way. When the numbers go down, students are leaving the school. When the numbers go down, you have to start looking at closing some schools because you can't have 50 schools open and half of them closed.
I think Matthew, they voted to close the school before he ever got there, and he said there's also going to be another one they're going to close.
And then Hood, and then we're saying, see, he went over there and he's closing
Yeah,
schools there.
he had nothing to do with
Isn't
it.
that nasty?
He's just a nasty.
We good? Okay, we're going to resume our meeting now, and we're going to move into the no action part of the agenda, and we have a presentation, Agape presentation, and I'm going to let Mr. Doan make the introductions.
All right. Good evening, members of the board. I believe we have Dr. Michael McDuffie, Ms. Gwen Gilbert, Chief, and Ronald Bird here with us from Agape. Is that correct? If they would come on up. So the folks from Agape Health Services, you can join us right there at the table. They reached out to us about a partnership with Washington Elementary School. And so currently Agape School-Based Health Services is working in both Hyde County and Washington County, and they reached out to us about all the services that we might offer at Washington Elementary School. And so I wanted them to come and speak with the board. We're working on an MOU that if the board is interested, I would bring back for your review further, but I kind of want you to get an idea of what the services they offer and all the ways that we might partner together to help our students and staff. And so,
Welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome to our board.
Yes, thank y'all for coming.
Thank you, thank you. Do you have the PowerPoint?
I believe it's on the website.
I have it on
We
the
have it
screen.
as an
I'm not sure if
attachment.
it's up
I
here.
can-
I have it. All of us have it. On the screen.
They'll have it just one
Okay.
second.
You got to sit through all of our Character Ed Awards. Isn't that wonderful?
I love it, love it. My son was here earlier in the year, so.
Yeah, nothing's
fun
better
time.
than,
Congratulations.
nothing's more fun than recognizing students, I don't think, so.
To see some of the same teachers from, I have two sets of kids, I say. My oldest are 32 and 30, and some of the same teachers, I'm like, yay, you guys are. Well, I don't know if they're like, yay, it's almost time to go.
Are y'all three
They'll miss us.
centered at the Agape locally or from all over?
We're Dr. McDuffie and myself are here in the Washington admin.
Uh-huh.
And Mr. Bird, he's boots on ground, so he's actually on site at the school currently now. We're only in Washington County schools right now. And he is in Washington County schools every day.
Oh.
Yep, I am. And Mr. Bird can tell you a little bit about himself. But,
I don't really know if they want to know anything about me.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, we do.
Sir.
Absolutely. Yeah, they
Good
got-
evening. Thank you guys for having me. I'm a retired principal. I did my last few years over in Martin County at Riverside Middle, and I also directed the alternative learning program. So, and I am retired, and it's a wonderful thing. And it's just been great being able to disengage and then re-engage myself in a different light, but still be able to work with students and teachers in the community at Washington County Schools. And, you know, where there's great need, it's just a wonderful thing to just be a part of a vehicle that could provide the mental health support and the medical support that Agape does.
You just let Amber know when you want to go to the next slide.
Okay, awesome. And I am a product of Beaufort County Schools. I started school many moons ago. Won't say how long, but I did find my first grade picture last night, and I posted on social media. And so I will just say it was in the 80s. And for many that may have been here since 2000. Cindy Arnold and Betty Woolard were my teachers. So that's been many, many moons ago. And so to see that now, and now to see that the school, I have to go get a break, because I was like, I don't need a break, but I do need a break because I was a product of the Beaufort County Schools, as are my kids. So I am the Chief Behavioral Health Officer at Agape Health, currently overseeing the one of my projects, in addition to many of the other hats I wear, is our school-based health services. Under the direction of Dr. Michael McDuffie, who is our CEO, and Dr. Wendy Carlton, who is our CMO, and she's unable to be here currently in another meeting. But to get started, so why are we here? That's probably why, can we go back one more slide? Sorry. Oh, okay, thank you. Okay. So one of the barriers that many of our students face, daily, is accessing health care. Like transportation, parents having to miss work, long wait times. They don't just impact a student's health, they also impact attendance, behavior, and their academic success. So one of the things that we have realized is if we can keep students in class, if we can address their needs right while they're on campus, most of the time the child is able to go back to class. So we're able to reduce some of those seats in, seats in class, seat time, yeah. Back when I was in school, it's heinies and seats, but if we can keep the child there, if we are able to address the need right when it arises. A lot of times we see our littles, at least at Washington County, they're beginning to, have some behaviors. We're able to intervene right there while they're on campus. We're able to come and say, sometimes maybe it's just them, missing mom, and we're able to kind of do some intervention. Sometimes it's a little more severe. Maybe they do need a referral elsewhere, but we're able to address it right alongside the school and the teachers. And so once we realize that, once we begin to see those questions come up, like how do we remove the barriers? Because mom doesn't have a car by the time she gets a taxi here, or in Washington County, honestly, it's a ride. There's no taxi. In Hyde County, it was no taxi. So it was, if mom could get to school, most of the time it was a nurse or us taking the kid home. But if we can address those, if we can do something about what would it be? And the answer is simple. Like, let's bring the care to where the students already are. And so I think I kind of addressed this too, but one of the things that we also recognize is that when a student is absent, it affects the revenue, because if a kid is missing enough days in school that you guys are having to reach out and say, or the school officials are having to reach out and say, like, where is this kid? Like, what is going on? It's already impacting their grades. It's going to impact their ability to do well in class, to get along with others. Possibly, it's going to impact the parents if the parents get a notice saying that they have to appear in court. It's also it's staff burnout, because the teachers are spending an awful lot of time trying to get this kid up to where they need to be at in order to test successfully. And we definitely don't want our educators stressed out more than they have to be, especially behind something that we can possibly intervene and do something about. Also, the kids are missing critical learning time. I know my daughter is in Math 1 in 8th grade currently, and I know she missed a day of school. We had a funeral. She missed one day of school, and she was freaking out, Mom, I'm so far behind, what can I do? And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, kid, you got it. Like, you're going to be okay. But on that same token, if someone else had missed a day of school or several days of school, what my daughter was missing in one class, a lot of kids, they're not there for multiple days. Not just one day, it's 7 days or 10 days, or, bless their heart. I'm working with a kid now in a different district that's missed 41 days of school just since January. And I'm like, okay, there is absolutely no way we can bring that kid up. But we're able, focus, Gwen. If we can provide on-site services, it helps us to keep the students learning, and it helps us to help you all reduce some of the administrative burden. Next slide. So what is school-based health? So school-based health is a proven, trusted model throughout this nation. There are school-based health sites in almost every state, if not every state. Most of them are run by a federally qualified health center, such as Agape Health. We are a federally qualified health center, or you might hear me mention later FQHC. They're in thousands of districts, not all though, I should say not all are run by FQHCs. but many are, thousands of districts, and there are millions of students that have been served. Agape has been providing school-based health since 2022 when we started in Washington County Schools. I will say we did reach out to Beaufort County first, because, I was like, it's home for me. But we know that we had to go through some things, so we weren't able to, I think it was some transitions going on. And so we reached out to several other counties, and, we started services elsewhere. But we would love to bring the model back here into Beaufort County schools if we are invited to do so. So what is it? What does it look like in the day-to-day? So for a school-based health site, such as Agape, it looks as simple as a teacher or staff identifying a need in a student. Well, when we partner with the school first. So we meet with the school, we meet with the teachers, we meet with the nurses. It's very important that the administration and the nurses have a very good relationship with us, because we're going to be talking an awful lot. The teacher or the staff identifies a need in a student, and they submit a referral. It could be a warm handoff. It could be walking the student to us. It could be, hey, I saw some things. It could be a learning. It could be, sometimes I advocate for students with 504 and IEPs. Parents just don't understand. They have learning needs themselves. They don't quite understand some of the things that's going on. They've just been signing a paper. And so some of the things that we do behind the scenes is help make sure they understand what they're signing and what modifications or things that their child could benefit from so that they can be successful. Once we get the referral, our on-site provider, they're licensed clinicians, licensed nurses, licensed nurse practitioners. We meet with the student during the school day. So we, and I guess one of the steps that I did miss, all students their parents, they have parental consent to be in our services. So we don't see, unless it's an emergency and we have to stabilize, every parent has already signed up for services. They're already aware of how to access their child's records. If the child is of a certain age, the child owns their own record, but the parent is given proxy. If the child, I think it's like 14 or so, and that's not a Agape thing, that's actually a EHR thing that North Carolina's gray on this, so it's nothing that we have actually been able to successfully do to get our EHR to not do it. I think it's like 13. The child owns the chart, the parent is the proxy. But we work around that. I don't want to give you too much information and have you confused. But the parents do consent to services prior to us going in. We meet with the parents. We let them know what we do. Parents signs the consents, starts the relationship, and then of course the school you guys are able, with the consents in place, to refer the student, submit the referral. Our provider sees the student during the day. The student receives care and returns to class the same day, unless it's something, that we would have to contact the parent, if it's something contagious or if the child is just ill and can't return based on the school's interpretation of why this child would need to be sent home. And then if the child is able to go back, we return the child to class. There's no parent having to go pick up the kid and get transportation. There's no having to call the pediatrician and try to get an appointment same day, next day, or even in the next 6 weeks. No missed instruction. We're able to get that kid back in class. And the parents are kept informed. Everything we do, we communicate through our EHR, which we use Epic. So Epic is the same system that most hospitals use. We communicate through there. We also communicate with parents on their own method. Some parents prefer a text message. Some parents prefer a call. Some parents prefer a note. It just depends on what that parent has suggested or stated how they want their communication. And then we communicate with the parent, the child is sent back. If there's a prescription, we send that directly to the pharmacy through our electronic health record, so that child is never having to touch a prescription. It goes to Walmart, Walgreens, wherever Agape has a pharmacy. If they want it to come to us, it goes wherever. And the parent just gets off work or whatever, picks up the prescription and goes, child is able to get the medication. If it is something that we can give the child and we have a standing order for that, our licensed clinicians we're able to administer that medication on site. Child never gets it in their hands whatsoever. We're not giving them a prescription for Tylenol, saying, oh, take it when you need it. They're coming to us. We're able to give them whatever it is they need. They're able to go back to class. If there are any questions at any time, I do not mind being interrupted if you have any questions to ask, I promise.
I do have a question.
Oh, sure.
So we'll back up to how it works. So
Okay.
teacher or staff members make the referral to you guys.
Or child can self-refer if they.
And then as far as the parents' consent, is that sent to the parents from Agape, or does that come from the school?
The
for consent to care?
So the consent to care,
I'm just
we
curious.
can do it either one of two ways. The child at the beginning of the school year is what we do. What we currently do now at the beginning of the year, we have a campaign. We encourage parents to. We say it's better to have and not need than to need and not have.
Yep.
So, you know, if we go ahead and have all the consent signed, if we never touch that child, we never
Yep,
use
that
it.
sounds good. Thank you.
I've got a question.
Sure.
So how many personnel would be in like a school, Washington Elementary, in a day?
So currently, right now, we were thinking 3.
Okay.
So we cross-train most of our staff. A clinician, so we do integrated care. So we have an integrated care model. The school model is based on that. The school-based health services are based on that integrated model. So we provide primary care type services or medical services and mental health or behavioral health. So we have a clinician, we'll have a nurse practitioner, and likely either a nurse or RN, not quite sure if LPN, RN, or a medical assistant, but they will also act as our registrar or the word I'm looking for, case manager. So they'll be cross-trained to kind of to register students or staff, because we also see staff in our school-based health site too. If we have anyone that needs like a DOT physical or something, we're able to go ahead and get that done. The parts that we can do, some things we can't do, and then but we're able to do that, and then they're able to see the medical provider. Ron, you can that.
You summed it up.
Okay, yes, sir. Okay.
I have a question.
For sure.
You said, and I've read where you said, you know, the parents are informed every step of the way. Hypothetically, a teacher has sent a student out of the classroom for you to assess. Is it at that point you contact the parent, or do you do the assessment? We all know some parents are like, you will not talk to my child, you will not do this without me knowing, and that becomes a sticky, which for you. But at what point is the parent contacted that you're doing an assessment? And some assessments are just simple, and you handle it and send the child back to class. But if it's a little more complicated, and you'll have a lot of those, at what point do you contact the parent?
Absolutely. If we don't currently already have a consent or release or consent to treat on file, if we don't currently have that, then we're making contact with that parent first. We're going to attempt to call the parent. If it's an emergency, if they need first aid, like care or crisis, if the child is in crisis, then we'll intervene safely to a point to get this to stabilize the situation, and then we'll contact the parent.
What a school nurse would do. But even if you have that consent form, there, hypothetically again, would be a parent that still feels like you should have called them before you did anything. Even if they've signed that consent form,
Absolutely.
How quickly they forget when you start administering care.
Absolutely. So we make all contact with parents. If we are unable to, if we have a consent in place and the parent, we have flags all in the chart. If this is one, it'll flag us and say contact parent first. We will contact the parent first.
Okay.
And it pops up like we would have to literally dismiss it in order to do so. So it's in our face. It's big.
Right.
And we'll contact the parent first. If we're unable to reach the parent, we will continue. We will follow. Most of the time, they'll have like the first contact, second contact, third contact.
Right.
We'll go through all of those. If we have a consent, we err on the side of what stabilizes this child first, and then we'll stabilize, and then we're still making contact, and we're still communicating through our EHR. So the parent is going to automatically know from the moment we touch that child, they're going to already get a notification that the child is, that someone is in, the child's. We send it's through our we have an app through our EHR.
Okay.
And it sends a notification to the parent, and then they're able to see what we did. If the child is of a certain age, though, the only difference is if the child is of a certain age, they can see that we have touched the child, but they're not a proxy or they've not given permission, then they will not be able to see like specifics. If we have, I don't know of a situation where most of the time the kids do consent most of the time, but they have that autonomy to do so. We know that we run into this all the time in every district, every state. If they have not identified that, and right now we're going through some really interesting times with the administration, so we're constantly, taking guidance from the School-Based Health Alliance. But one of the things is that the parents have a right to know what's going on with their child at all times. We're following the guidance that we receive from our federal partners, because right now it is still in courts and everywhere else. So as soon as that guidance comes down, we'll follow it to the T.
That would be for little older kids.
Right, at Washington Elementary, the
Oh, yeah,
oldest one
that's
might be
true.
9.
Yeah, the babies, yeah, so, yeah.
And
But
I think it's important to know that we're not there to particularly take the place of their pediatrician. So our goal will be to keep those children in class, and get them back into class. And so whether it be, they have a headache or just not feeling well, they go to the nurse, and then the nurse wants them to be evaluated by a primary care provider. And so, that's a lot of what we do. And of course, the mental health is a big part too.
Right.
And so, but we're not there to take the place. And some kids have a pediatrician and some don't.
I was gonna say, and a lot of times you might be the only source of medical care.
Right.
Okay.
please
let's
forgive
mo-
me, I forgot we're only
Yeah,
at the
let's-
Washington Elementary, so I apologize for thinking on
it's
that
fine.
high level.
Yeah, let's move on through the presentation. Some of our questions may be answered in the presentation.
Okay, sure. And so this slide is kind of self-explanatory. What it looked like before, or what it looks like even currently, sometimes now, is a kid will miss a couple of hours. We have some of our children whose medical providers are not here in Washington, so they're riding public transportation. The van is picking them up at 7:30, 8 a.m. They're going to their appointment. They're coming back. That's a full day of school missed for the child and a full day of work missed for mom or dad or parent or guardian. The parents are having to leave work. Transportation delays care. So sometimes you can't get transportation, I can't get an appointment. Or if they miss that appointment because of the transportation, sometimes it's booked out 6 or 7 weeks later, and the students are falling behind. With a school-based health on site, we're able to see the child, as we mentioned, right there during the day. Their child is able to return to class. The parent is able to get a notification, know what's going on with their child at all times, not having to disrupt their work schedule. There are no transportation barriers. Unless, and we have case management too. I did not mention that, but our case management, we are able to go and pick up a parent and bring a parent back to an appointment. And the students are able to stay in class and stay engaged.
Okay.
Next slide. I think that's about it. Basically, we have on-site and virtual options. So for mental health, our plan and our goal is for us to have a full-time licensed clinician on site for all of our school-based health. So at Washington Elementary, what that will look like is us having a licensed clinician on site. You can't plan for crises or emergencies. We're not trying to take the place of any clinician that is on site or any clinician that a child may be currently seeing. So we know kids have therapists that might be elsewhere and they're not in the school. But if the child is having a behavior or issue or need right now, and we see that a lot currently, we have kids that have been cutting. We acknowledge that. We're given an injection. We notice the cuts. We're going to address that. We're going to contact the parent and let the parent know. And it starts, we have first graders. So it's not a middle school or high school thing anymore. But you can't plan for that. You can't plan for a child who has come to school and has faced something the night before and they're having a meltdown in the middle of the classroom. The goal is to let's stabilize, let's find out what's going on. We can still contact the therapist or whomever is working with that child, but we want to stabilize right now. We want to address it right now. You can't plan for that. You can't say, oh, we'll go see a therapist next week and come back. But we're going to have someone on site right now that can address that need, go ahead and do some interventions and get hopefully the kid back in class and able to function throughout the day. And that will also cut down on time for the teachers having to spend time being a therapist, even though they're not trained. Many of them probably will make great therapists because they're dealing with this each and every day. But they're able to continue on with it, and we're able to deal with the disruption and the interruption and get the kid hopefully stabilized and back in class.
Okay.
I think like one more. Well, I got them right here. Well, I'm just saying I don't know what's next. And so basically, we're just saying it's proven outcomes. We have outcomes. We have data that we can share in Washington County to show. Now, Washington County has a whole different set of things going on. It has nothing to do with school-based health. And that's just a lack of providers. Washington has, even though we say sometimes we don't have as much as Greenville, they don't have as much as Washington. So some of the things that we're dealing with there are just a lot of transportation barriers and just a whole lot of other stuff. It's a K-12 school, and the school is fully glass. So if you're not familiar with that, that's a nightmare in itself. If they're watching this, I'm sorry, but it is. You guys already know this. But some of the things we are able to improve, days missed out of class, assignments are completed. Our clinicians are able to work with the students to help identify any learning needs, and we're able to get that assessment completed. If there are any learning or behavior needs, we're able, even if it's off-site with learning objectives, to get the learning objectives, we're able to get them assessed, to get medications if needed, if parents agree. We're able to go ahead and have that intervention, much sooner than having to refer out and wait for an appointment, which may take 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
And just, so basically I put this slide in here. There's no roles or responsibilities. We're a collaboration, so I just, for the sake of time, we would just partner together. If you guys decide that you want more information, we could provide that. But if you decide that, hey, we want to go move forward with this, what would it look like? Basically, all we would need is a dedicated space. We don't charge the schools for any services. There would be no cost out of your pocket for any of the services provided to the students. You've just asked that the school would identify and refer the students that are in need and help facilitate communication. Sometimes it just looks like a blast out, hey, got babies, health services coming, designate a point of contact for coordination. So most of the time in a school, that's your school nurses or your school social workers. We work very closely with them, but if it's another identified person, then we would just ask that we coordinate with that person. And then you focus on the educational piece, we'll focus on the healthcare. We'll manage all of any of the staffing, credentialing, any of the scheduling. We manage that on our end. We deliver the clinical care and the behavioral health care. We'll handle billing and compliance. All of our individuals that work inside, and I think I have a separate slide for that. Next slide, please. Well, maybe it's the slide after that, but we are fully compliant with all federal and state regulations. We adhere to HIPAA for any of the health services, and we work under with FERPA. We understand that there are two entirely different federal regulations and federal statutes, but we work very closely with them. We have our consents are HIPAA compliant and FERPA compliant, so they merge very closely together. We have licensed, credentialed providers. We do background checks, federal background checks on each and every person. All the healthcare registries. We do comprehensive documentation is maintained for every student. We use the EHR. Everything we do is housed in that EHR. We will print out guidance, print out guides as needed for the school. And we'll integrate seamlessly with any of the protocols. Each school district is different in with what they require, and so we work very closely with what this district will require. And so,
can I back you up to the financial
sure.
sheet?
Oh, the model,
we
sure.
skipped right over that.
I'm sorry.
Well, no, we didn't really skip over it. You talked about it, but I skipped over here.
Okay.
You said it was no cost to the district, but when I read it, I was just curious. So you do all the Medicaid billing, private insurance, and things like that, and says soft services are designed to be cost neutral whenever possible.
So the
basically, what does that actually mean?
Sliding fee scale. So we have a sliding fee scale. So it wouldn't be a cost to Beaufort County Schools.
Right.
We have a sliding fee scale. If a child or a school official, staff
right.
is unable to, if either the copay is just too high or they don't have insurance at all,
right.
then we have a sliding fee scale. But
gotcha.
we don't refuse care, even if someone
right.
can't afford to pay. We're going to still see them.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yes, I've got a few.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I like your approach of taking one school and setting up the program. But I guess my first question is, assuming it's successful there, are you looking to scale this up across the district, other schools?
That would be a decision that I guess ideally I think really big, but we know we have to start low and go slow. So it's possible if the schools have a need, because we definitely want to be value added and be able to assist. So if the school has a need and they want our assistance, then there will be a talk with you all in here. The other is, when we look at that, is sometimes you might not need all of it, because maybe, say, healthcare in this area is pretty much covered, but we just need behavioral health, then it may just look like having a full-time clinician working in tandem with whomever else is coming into the schools part-time. We'll have someone full-time there.
Okay. I'm looking at several aspects that are related to behavioral health or mental health. I just want to see what your experience has been in the schools that you're in. One of the problems that we have, and I think all school systems have, is bullying, and related to that very often discipline problems. I would think that this mental health, behavioral health assistance would decrease those problems. Has that been your experience where you've been active so far?
I would say so, Brian. Your boots on ground in the schools much. We work very closely with our school guidance counselors, because a lot of times, well, one, we build the platform. We have to build the dashboard of how that looks. Sometimes the referral, some schools have preferred that it go through guidance first before coming to us. Some students feel more comfortable coming straight to us. They're like, hey, can I go see Miss Ava? They're wanting to go straight there, and that's their safe space, not, because someone is messing with them. So it depends on how that would look. But I'll let Ron
I'm kind of the relationship builder, and I'm on campus 4 days out of the week, and with the team that you just mentioned, and we have that therapist there, the medical person. And what I enjoy somewhat most about it is being able to work with the principals and the assistant principals and the teachers and build relationships. I think we've been real successful in Washington County at making the students and the parents feel comfortable, so that if there are issues, and bullying is a huge thing, was a huge thing when I taught, it was a huge thing as a principal. And our therapists pick that information up, and we're able to sometimes assist the assistant principals and the principals at some of the things that they are doing inside the school. We also, this year, are looking to create an education piece. For instance, just a couple of weeks ago, one of our clinicians did a trauma-informed education piece for the BT1, 2s, and 3s. That would be the beginning, first, second, and third year teachers, to give them some scaffolding, some information about what they can do, what to look for in a traumatized student. Because sometimes kids are in trauma, and it represents or manifests itself in negative behavior. So, but the trick is to be able to identify that. The staff at Washington has been really, they use us a lot. And we have actually signed up a lot of guys and girls. The parents and the families have become dependent upon us for a lot of help. But yes, it would help. It probably would help. We're looking maybe down the road to help. I noticed the character education pieces that you guys awarded. That's excellent. See, those are some things that maybe as we move forward in the future, we're going to start branching out and just trying to use our clinicians or our therapists to talk to students and talk to teachers about certain situations.
One of the things, too, that we've had a couple of situations on fairly recently is the death of a student that has really had social trauma throughout the school. How would you approach something like that with a limited staff when it affects multiple students like that?
Well, unfortunately, Washington County had about 5 weeks ago the same situation. We were on, I was able to call my leadership, and we were able to have extra mental health support and clinicians on the campus for a few days for any guys or any girls that were experiencing some meltdown situations. So it was, and staff, because a lot of those teachers are teaching these guys. And when you look up, when you go home on a Friday and then you come back on Monday and he or she is not with us anymore, the ripple was really, really big. And actually, it's still somewhat a ripple, and it's been weeks later. But we were there in force with other community resources. We just, with the ministerial community and other folks that came in to just provide support. Because sometimes those guys just need to walk off for a minute or just sit down. And I felt real good about being there. I think we did a great job. And I think the kids, they actually came to us. So it was a wonderful thing. So that's something that we've just experienced.
Mm-hmm. And we partner, we're not expected to be the only agency. Like if there is a school-wide event, such as the death of a student or something that happens in the school, we still partner with our community partners to come in. Trillium, the LME MCO, we're working very closely. Integrated, who does a lot of crisis intervention. So we're not just a one-stop shop. We don't want to be. We are a partner of choice. So we want to be the partner of choice, I'm sorry. And so we'll work very closely with our community partners, with area mental health providers. So if something happens on a larger scale, we're able to pull in our community partners, and we're having a united front. We're coming in and we're addressing it. We are one agency to provide full-time medical and clinical care at the school site, but we're not the only. And we don't want to be. What we do, if something happens, we do want to be able to provide that care and attention to that student in that moment, versus them having to leave school and may or may not be able to get it, just depending on insurances or transportation, or sometimes just honestly just a view of what it looks like. Some people will get it in school, but they don't necessarily want to be seen going into a certain building.
I guess my last question has to do with something that's a little, real touchy all over the country, lawsuits over it and so forth. But that's, how would you handle a potential gender dysphoria situation?
So we're looking at pre-K, pre-K 3. And so if a child came in, honestly, and said, don't call me, whatever it may be, then we're not addressing all of the other gamuts. We're gonna run the healthcare based off of what we have to run the healthcare from, because there are certain things that we have to do if it's a born female student with the organs of a female student or that of a male student. We have to do healthcare. So we're not getting into how they identify. We're gonna call Johnny, Sarah, and we're gonna because they're too young for us we can't intervene at that level with that for healthcare, and we don't want to. So as they get to maybe middle school and we address that, then that would be a different way that we would handle that. But honestly, we're only addressing just the healthcare. So our medical provider, our nurse practitioner, our PA, or our MD, our Dr. Carlton, our CMO is also a pediatrician. We're gonna address that. We're gonna run the tests that we need for what we need to. Now in therapy is where we're gonna address the other things. And that's covered under HIPAA and under that patient-client privilege. But for healthcare, we're only gonna provide the healthcare, looking at the ears, eyes, stomach, tummy, those things.
A lot of the controversy comes in the mental health area of encouraging or discouraging certain behaviors. And I understand at this age that, you've got typically when I was that age, we had girls that liked to play, boys things. They were tomboys, and they got older and they realized they were girls, and it was never a real gender dysphoria situation. But in some places, people are being encouraged to say, well, you're really a boy, not a girl. Yeah, and so I'm assuming from what you're saying that y'all just, in the mental health area, are hands off of that too.
Well, we would support the patient. So we're not, and I am also a clinical supervisor over our team. And none of us are encouraging our patients to think our way or any way. We support the patient and support them in their way, and we advocate for them to speak up for themselves. So we're not going to do anything unethical or illegal. Everything that we do is guided by, ethics and law, because we answer first to our Board of Ethics and then, of course, to the state of law. So definitely, if they say we can't do it, we are constantly in CEUs and CMEs, we're constantly making sure that we are abiding by ethical and legal guidelines. But we're definitely not telling any of our patients to do anything. We definitely support and encourage them to.
And the parents would be continuously involved and informed on all of that.
Yeah, for older kiddos, and we would address that, but I think right now for the elementary kiddos, if they come in, we're addressing the behaviors that's gonna keep them, stable and in class and in school, and then working very closely. So this is the school-based model. If they need additional supports, then we do have our Agape Health Services that's outside of the school-based model that we can refer them to if they need family therapy, if they need more case management, if they need familiar support, whether it be addressing hunger or anything else. We're able to address that outside of the school setting, but in the school setting, we just want to keep them in class.
I'm familiar with your overall operation. You do a
Yes, sir.
very good job here in Washington, by the way.
Also, thank you so much.
Okay, I got one more question
Yes,
for
sir.
the superintendent
Oh, okay.
before we move on, because
We
we
got
need to
questions
move
down
on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm coming back to her. You're going to now be working on an MOU.
That's correct.
And what's the timing that the board, because you'll see this again, the board will see the MOU. Or do you know?
I can have it to the next meeting if you'd like.
Okay,
next
well,
meeting.
that's, I mean, whenever you've got it, is when we want to see it.
Yeah.
So you think we'll probably see it in the next week?
We can do that.
Okay, one last question before we move on. We gotta go.
I actually have two. We'll make it really quick.
Sure.
And you had mentioned that you would need a space in the school, and I'm sure in our new school we're going to have room for you. But what would be really awesome is to see you organize or become more of a bridge with the other districts in our county, because there's needs all along the county for what you're offering. And it is a super bridge for health care for the families in this county, in Martin County, and Hyde County, like bravo, you know? But with the space, if we were to move you to other places, or if we would want to do like a pathway club, where we could start with the Washington elementary students and sort of branch out with the things that they're learning from you of those students, so they feel like they're being health care accountable instead of being singled out, especially through the system, because I know when I was teaching, labels were a big issue.
Yes.
You know, and you have parents today that are older, and they're like, hey, I want to give my kid a chance because they were labeled when they were younger. And then you have these older kids in high school or middle school that maybe aren't getting what they need. Are these the kind of visions that you have? Or can you tell me more of what the space you would need in another school? Because I know we're going to have space in this one.
Yeah. So right now, we don't operate in a lot of space. The school was built with us in mind, but the needs of that district. So we brought our mobile unit out to provide services with our mobile unit. We parked it out front. So now when parents, they don't see it, so they were worried, like we're not on site anymore, because now we're in a pod. We have a medical pod. And soon to be a modular. We're getting a modular in Washington County schools. And so we bring our mobile unit. And when parents see that they know us in the community. They recognize who we are. And so they know that we're on site. They're calling the mobile units. Their parents want to know, can they be seen in the mobile unit? And that will totally be a school thing. We, Hyde County allowed parents to come in. Washington County, we like, wait a minute. So it just depends on what the district wants at that school. And we provide the services either on our unit, or if we have the space inside of the school, we do. But one of the things that the School-Based Health Alliance wants, and they have, it's called Be the Bridge. It is a program where the students become, it's a word.
Sort of peer partners.
Like mentors, yes, peer partners, and they're able to, they learn, and they're able to take what they learn and do small groups. They're able to, they wear a little badge that says, I am a Be the Bridge advocate. My daughter's actually one, and she's just as shy as can be, so I don't think Ms. Bosberg even knows that she is one, because she doesn't talk about it. But they go to DC every year for a school-based health conference, and they are amongst other, maybe 3,000 or 4,000 other students throughout the United States who are also Be the Bridge advocates. So, and they advocate for their schools. They meet, they bring us like issues like bullying, or they recognize stuff. Students come to them and say, hey, so-and-so is having this problem.
And sometimes they're more comfortable.
Absolutely. And so we work very closely with them, because we don't want them being counselors either. And so, but they're also able to come to us, and, we provide just a very overarching support for what it is that they see, and then they bring that need back to us. Oh, and Dr. McDuffie mentioned, and we also do mental health first aid, as well as youth mental health first aid, and we will train the students, the older kiddos. Right. So when we're in high school, middle school, we do the training, and we do train the training and the staff.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll make it quick. We got to move on.
Very quick question. If the MOU becomes satisfactory between the two parties, would you be able to staff and be prepared in August when the new school opens?
Our CEO.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. Thank you.
Okay, we'll take this up at the next meeting. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Just reach out, Mr. Doan, just email me or whomever.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
y'all so much for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
This is going to move us into the action part of the meeting, and first up is our finance officer, Ms. Potts, on actually the Washington Elementary School. We need to pay some bills.
Yes, I would like to pay WIMCO. WIMCO has sent a request for the 17th disbursement on WES. They would like to be paid $3.2 million and some change. The package was uploaded, so I know y'all had a chance to look. And then I also included a summary of where we are as of this disbursement.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Move
that's-
approval.
Got a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second to pay the bills. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Our maintenance director, Jamie, you here? Yep, there he is. I believe you've got a few things to run over right quick with us.
Yes, sir.
Don't tear it up, Jamie. You don't need anything else to fix.
That's what I call us maintenance. We can fix it.
Yeah. Don't need anything else to fix.
You'll be at sending us a bill.
I'm traumatized.
Okay, Southside High is up. Is that first one you're looking at?
Yeah, first one is a combination of Southside High School and Washington High School.
Okay.
Southside High School chiller. We currently got, there's 3 there. One of them is currently inoperable. The money I'm asking for there is just a repair on that unit. I will say that unit also has a compressor issue, but we've got to repair it and to get it back up so we can start it up so we can see what's wrong with the compressor. Worst case is it has 2 compressors on it, one that we know is operational, the other one we're not sure about. The best case is we get 50% of that 200-ton back to help the school. Currently, the other 2 that are there are operational, working fine. The carriers, I'm not a big why is Brady working on them? Brady has provided us great service, and the carrier people have been unable to fix them. And the Washington cooling tower, you're probably not familiar with that, but they have 2 cooling towers. They're water cooled. Everything else we have is air cooled. There's a vibration sensor on the cooling tower. So if the fan gets out of balance, it doesn't beat it to death. Well, we've got one of them down right now because we need new vibration sensors on it because they've gone out. So that is the 2 quotes for them. This money would come out of our contingency fund.
And is that the 5504?
That's correct.
Okay, go ahead. We can put them all together. These are all in budgets, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Now, the next 2 that I have are R&R fund projects.
Do you want us to do
Northside
those
High
2?
School bleacher replacement.
Jamie, hold up. If you're moving into R&R, let's take a motion on the first 2.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, have a motion and a second on the chillers.
I'm just curious
Okay.
about how old are those chillers at Southside?
All right, Southside was put in the year before I started. That put them about 8 years old.
Okay.
And we've had continuous issues with them since they were put in.
These
We've
are
had
the
a
ones
lot
that have
of
some ant
issues
draw
with it.
issues or something?
Yeah, when they were originally installed and they did the first inspection on them, all 3 of the transfer pumps were pumping backwards
There you go.
for about
Yeah,
6 months.
We've had a lot of issues with
Yes,
them.
we have.
Okay, well, on those, though, we have a motion and a second on the floor, so you have a question? Oh, I saw you twirling your pen.
Just twirling my pencil.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, go to the bleachers.
All right, the bleachers, Northside High School bleacher replacement, that is an R&R fund request. I've got the distribution request there in front of you that has to be signed by the board chair and both of our county board and school board. With your permission, we would proceed with that, and you see the price tagged on that. I am currently in first phase of approval with DPI. These projects are a little different because I have to submit a lot of engineered paperwork to DPI for their approval before they'll allow us to start the process.
Right.
So I instigated that a month ago with them to try to, hopefully, this process and that DPI process will come together. I've done a first read on the bleachers with DPI. I think we've got all the information they've asked for on that. I've also done a first read on the Washington one that we'll get to too, and answer their questions on that. But this is the distribution request for the money.
Do the next one since it's a R&R too.
Okay.
And we'll put those together.
The Washington High School also, that is to, you remember 2 years ago, room 129, we completely ripped that room out
Yeah, I
and
was
redid it.
thinking we did.
This is for 2 rooms down on the end to rip those out and do the same thing. New casework in both of them. We'll do the floors, we'll paint the walls, we'll put new LED lighting in on new ceiling tiles. And this money is for 2 rooms.
So once you hear back from the request, you'll come back and let us know that.
Yeah, this has to be approved, and once you can
Right.
sign this now, but I cannot start the process until DPI approves the
Right,
project.
this is to give you permission to go through the process.
That's correct.
Right, do I hear a motion on that?
Motion to start.
Okay, got multiple seconds, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, now we're moving out of R&R back to gym floors,
All
right?
right, this is back to your local capital
That's
funds.
right, okay.
This is the northeast gym floor. Normally, because of the bid, you see the bids here, we got a lot of bids on this.
That's unusual, isn't it?
Well, I got some help from Wimco and a couple of companies
Okay.
that they recommended.
Okay, good.
I'm recommending that we go with the 17,490, which is below what I normally would bring to you, but in talking with Ms. Sherman, there's been some needs in that gym they've wanted over years. We've just not had the money to do it. One of them is a roll-up window to put in there so they can have a small concession stand. The other, this year we put them in a washer and dryer in a room that butts up against the back of that gym, but it has no door to the interior of the gym. I would like to also put them a door in. I've got enough funds at this time. This will put me over the $25,000 threshold.
But the budget on this was 35,000 with only a 17,000 bid, so you're well within your limits.
Yeah, and they greatly need that door
Absolutely.
for concessions there.
Yeah. And the last request, there's VCT tile at the end of each floor. Well, most gym floors are solid.
Mhm.
This has got tile. I'm not saying we got enough money, but if the money allows, if we got enough money, we're gonna try to do that too. But right now, we definitely do the floor. We give them a roll-up door, and we pay to get the door put in so they have inside access straight to their washer and dryer, which would also give them more storage for the gym.
Where would that roll-up door be for concession?
When you walk in, you know where the locker rooms are on
It's
that
on the
end?
left.
It would be down on the end on the right. There's a little room there that they don't use, and we'll just pull a window out, and we'll put them one of those metal roll-up fire doors there.
They've been needing that since I came on the school board.
I was getting ready to ask, how long have we talked about that?
We have talked about it every
A
year,
lot.
and there's been a very, and Ms. Sherman will remember, there's been a reason why it couldn't be done here, but it couldn't be done there. I'm
Yeah.
so glad. Please give it to them.
Move to approve.
So, yeah, we'll give you got a motion in a second? And if it goes, you're over to 25, but if it goes over to 35, let us know back.
Yes.
Okay, I got a motion in a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? CMS.
I do have a question,
Yeah,
just
go ahead.
a curiosity question. I'm assuming that floor refinishing is more of a maintenance issue, not an R&R issue?
Yeah, that's a current capital request that we get to.
I didn't know if R&R funds could be used for that. I was floor, bleachers.
Well,
I was just thinking for future need,
Well,
not
It-
about
yes,
this.
Yeah, it could.
They can be.
But the science classroom and the Northside gym bleachers are gonna wipe out our current R&R balance.
I'm good, I'm
So
good.
they could be in the
All right,
future,
great. I was
but
just-
not with this particular ask.
Informational purposes only.
Sure. I'm actually going to bring you an updated list of capital to review that Mr. Stokes, myself, Ms. Godley, and Ms. Potts have sat down and identified all the projects that we can use lottery funds for the future, which would actually open up some of our local capital to do a little more, including, I think, the paving projects we've been talking about.
Thank you so
But
much.
I'll have those
Appreciate
at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, so CMS Motors,
So
bleacher motors.
this is one that we've we've had to do a lot of work to because of it being an older facility, making sure, verifying that we had ample power there before we went out for bid. Well, we verified that we had ample power. We've got to pull from 2 different directions there to pull that power in. What this will do, we can get them motorized bleachers, but we'll be at a point where our extra power would be limited moving forward. Currently, we have $47,769 available for that. This bid, as you see, come in at $31,393, plus an extra $3,000. The maintenance department will bring in and mount 2 panels, each behind each side, so that the company can make their tie-in. Because we didn't have any companies that had the license to do the major electrical.
Still
There's
13,000
23
below.
Yes.
There's $23,000 difference between the first bid and the second bid, and the second bid's out of North Carolina, and the first bid's out of Illinois. Explain that.
Well,
Are we
fi-
getting the same thing?
Yes, FaciliServe's actually got locations in North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia.
That's where their home office
Yeah,
is.
FaciliServe does all of our bleacher inspections they've done it for years since I've been here. We do an inspection once a year to verify that everything's operational, they're safe and everything. FaciliServe has done that for years. Yes, I did call FaciliServe and sit down and go over, because the prices were so much different. And they have provided me with the drawings and everything like I requested, and they've guaranteed that when they get done with the power sitting there, that when you hit the button, they'll go in and they'll go out and just sit there and watch them.
Okay, it's just a big
I
difference.
do have another question about that before we move on. If you've ever been to CMS for a basketball game or any other event, you see drop cords everywhere. I think there's 2 receptacles in that entire gym, is that right?
Yes.
Would it pay us to maybe, since we're doing electrical in there, to look at maybe adding a couple, or does that make sense, or can
Well,
that be done?
The issue there, we don't have a lot to go around. And once we do this, we'll
Yeah.
look at what we may have left. There's another request to put motorized gold motors in there. I'm not sure that we have enough to run that. We might be able to get a couple extra plug-in somewhere. It's stretching it a little bit.
These single-phase or 3-phase motors, I'm assuming they're
This is
single-phase?
actually single phase 208.
Okay. Move
So,
to approve.
Motion to approve.
okay. All right, got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Anybody opposed? What's the capital of this?
The last thing is just a
That's just
capital.
informational.
It's just informational.
Right, I didn't think you needed a vote on it. That's why I was
No,
looking at it under action.
just kind of give you an update. There's
Okay.
there's 15 projects. Anticipate 11 of those to be done on or by the midsummer. 5 of those projects are projects that the board, that we added. You got, 2 of them are the, 2 R&R projects I just brought to you. 3 of them be one that you talk about tonight, and the 2 tracks for north side and, south side.
And anything red's completed.
That's right, that's correct.
Okay,
And
thank you very much.
like usual, anytime you've got a question, feel free to give me a call.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
Got a high school Southside tennis court, and I believe our county AD, Mr. Mitchell, is going to come talk to us about that.
Appreciate it. I like GAs and nays. Good evening, thanks for having me. Just real quickly, I'm here to just talk about the exciting growth of women's tennis at Southside, and I'm requesting the board's approval to resurface this tennis courts at Southside for that reason. The courts really originally were constructed in year 2000 and have deteriorated to a condition that presents safety issues to students and staff. Cracking, surface wear, and uneven areas have reduced playability and increased the risk of injury. This project is currently included in this year's proposed capital project list. However, after speaking with Mr. Doan, it is recommended that we complete this project using current capital contingency funds, and this adjustment will allow us the work to be finished in time for fall practices in 26-27. To maximize cost efficiency, the project will be coordinated with the track resurfacing at both Southside and Northside by Cardinal Courts and Tracks. And by bundling these efforts, the district will receive a cost reduction of $1,800, resulting in a total project cost of $21,200. So any questions, just please, we appreciate your
Does anybody
support.
else have a question? I have one, but I'll see if anybody else has one first.
No,
So
it needs to be
this
done.
was the project we were going to include on the next,
Yes, sir.
but with the money since we have it, we can go ahead and do it now, not have to put it on the next.
Right, yes, sir.
I just want to make sure everybody understood that.
So
Okay,
be
I'm
more
good.
expedient and be ready to
Yeah,
use.
it's
Yes, ma'am.
because of timing.
And we're
Okay,
bundling with
that's
the
fine.
folks who are doing the resurfacing of the tracks at Northside and Southside, they're reducing that cost.
I'm
for
good.
us.
Yeah, got a motion for this?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
It desperately needs to be done.
Yeah, it does.
And I believe we have, are we going straight to the device? Amber, or do I have one before that? Board,
I have
yeah,
a
board
spending
technology
request and an
request,
update for
right.
device agreement.
Okay.
I'll start with the spending request.
Yeah.
We have 2 quotes that we've received, one for 275 student Chromebooks and one for teacher laptops. The total that those are $137,795.11, which is less than the current capital budget that I currently have.
Right.
So I'd like to ask for the consideration for that to be approved. And then I have a request for local district capital spending, which is an update to this room, the boardroom equipment and professional development center that we have here, which is for $57,519.13.
Right, but this comes out of technology funds that's already set aside anyway. Right.
Yes, sir.
So this is
Motion to
just
approve
spending.
that.
Second, yes.
We know
Okay.
the
What is
question.
that doing?
There she is.
What is that doing? The
Which one?
PD center, what is that?
So
What is that for?
that is to update the equipment that we have in here. So,
Okay.
with the audio issues that we've had and some video
So that your
issues.
meetings will actually be televised properly
Yes.
and have sound.
I have more people that ask me all the time why they're not on TV anymore.
Because we got bad equipment.
Yes, well, that's the truth, because we have the misfortune of, if the video works, there isn't sound, or if the audio works, there isn't video.
I
And
get
we're
it.
gonna put the two together, and
I was hoping that's what it
So we
was
don't look like a
for,
B movie
that is
when we're
correct.
talking.
Yes.
but it didn't say, so
Okay,
thank you.
so
Motion to
this,
approve.
yeah, so we have a motion, I thought I already heard a second.
Second.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Student device.
Okay, just really quickly, I presented a student device agreement update. The current student device agreement that we have online that students have used this year, and we've updated the device repair numbers. So with your board approval, I'd like to use this moving forward in the year 26-27 with the increased device repair numbers that it costs for our student devices to be fixed.
Got any questions?
Motion to approve.
I guess the only question I would have about this
Yeah,
is.
where's it at?
And I know prior to issuing a Chromebook to a student, it goes through a pretty detailed inspection and some, I guess, checks and balances.
It does.
Yeah, I know, and we're in need of some of those. I know
We are.
from experience with my own children, they can be pretty rough sometimes.
Well, on these prices, what if they have insurance?
Yeah.
Well, if they've signed the device agreement and they've gotten their devices, then the first issue that they have is waived. But once it becomes a multiple offense, then we go to the device agreement as far as charging for repairs.
And this would be shared with them when
Yeah.
they sign at the beginning of the year, so they're aware of what this will cost them.
Yes, ma'am. And they have to sign this before they're issued their device that they have for the school year.
As long as they know.
I like it.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Move to approve.
Got
Second.
a motion and a second to my left here. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you much. Ms. Walker, put us in closed
All
session.
right. I move we go into closed session pursuant to General Statute 143-318.11A1, A3, and A6 to prevent disclosure of confidential personnel information under General Statute 115C-319 and 115C-321.
Okay, I'll give her a second.
I
All
need
in
a
favor of moving into closed session? Hey, board members. Anybody